Welcome, viewers. This is Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. That very interesting program where we bring you very catchy and trendy topics making rounds in our nation. My name is Nsidwa Odoite, your very regular presenter. And of course, anchoring this program with me is our delectable Nna Douglas.
Yes, viewers, thank you for joining us on this on 9 News Nigeria, where you'll get everything you need to know about trending issues. You're welcome.
In the corridors of power, a storm brews as echoes of controversies reverberate the hallowed halls of the National Assembly over the recent pardon saga, which has plunged the legislative body into turmoils and tempers rising. Amidst the chaos, the suspension of a lawmaker and call for the immediate resignation of the Senate president have intensified. The political drama has casted a shadow over the integrity of the nation's highest legislative institution. With me to do justice to this very interesting topic I have in the studio, to my immediate right, I have with me Alhaji Usman Adaji. He is a political analyst. You're welcome, sir, to Issues in the News.
It's nice being here. It's my pleasure.
And to my immediate second right, I have Barrister Samuel Ihesenke. He is a lawyer as well as an activist. He's also the senior partner of Part Legal and Company. He is of the MBA and IBA, and also the country legal advisor of One Love Foundation. Barrister, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here again. Thank you so much.
So Nigerians, I urge you to please be with us and have a nice time as we delve into this very interesting topic of interest, the pardon saga. Alhaji Usman, please, what would you describe saga, the pardon saga? What does it mean to you?
Well, thank you for having me here. I want to start, and then I urge all of us in the studio here to, deal with the issues as they are. First and foremost, the word pardon is no longer a new name to Nigerians. It's more or less a household name, because during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo, if you remember very well, the issue of pardon took the front burner. It was a very major discussion at that time, where he came out and alleged on the issue of budget pardon. That was extensively discussed. And I can assure you strongly that for me, this issue, as far as I'm concerned, the man who came forth with the issue of pardon, Abdul Ningi, the senator from the northern part of the country, for me, is not a new senator, he's a ranking senator, and I'm sure he's not new to the issue of pardon. And the process of allowing what we call the budget, the process the budget passed through until it is seen as a document, as a complete document for Nigerians to use. Once you have a budget, and is debated upon, first and foremost, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm privy to what does happen when it comes to the issue of the budget. Once the budget is discussed at that level, there is what we call, you have what we call addendum. An addendum is a situation where people now return back to the budget after it has been discussed at the preliminary to look at the budget. Where are the challenges? Were there issues that were associated with the budget that were not treated or were not touched at that time? Where you find anything illegal or, so to speak, that is unwanted with regards to that budget, you call the attention of the leadership of the Senate. What they do is revisit that particular part and, of course, make correction. When you leave the addendum, you go to what we could possibly call corrigendum. In this process, what you do is trying to make this budget as perfect as possible. Now, away from that, there are what we call negligible errors, especially when it becomes an error that is associated with possibly maybe a particular item appearing 2 or 3 times on the budget. It takes nothing from the lawmakers, who of course have seen those things happening on the budget, to call the attention of the leadership. And in the case of Ningi, which he did, and he said, look, the Senate President has said, let us see how we can look at this issue. And the next thing is a matter of, going on. So for me, budget pardon is not a new thing, but what we need to do, and the way I feel we should approach it, is do everything possible to ensure that it is completely out of our budget.
Okay, thank you very much. Very Sir Sami Hesenke, what do you think National Assembly defines budget pardon? And why is it considered problematic?
The problem of budget padding, I take a very different stance from my friend here. The old issue of budget padding is an unlawful activity. The meaning of the word, the clear definition or the legal explanation of the word padding is an unlawful or illegal or inflated budgetary or unlawful or illegal tampering with the budget. That is the clear definition of budget padding. It might not actually come within the confines, because for you to categorize a situation or a narrative as a criminal offense, a criminal law or a statute or a code must have defined it as a criminal matter, and there must be a penal consequence. But in these circumstances now, we are talking about the word a budget that is brought by virtue of Section 81 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and was submitted to the two-tiers places of the House. And the sum of 25 trillion was appropriated, regularized, pegged at that level, and they gave it to some certain set of people who are said to be representing us. We have 360 House of Rep members, we have 109, and whatever, they don't have that discretion. They now add an additional 3.7 trillion. And we should keep quiet. So the question is, Ningi, Abdul Ningi of the Bauchi Central Senatorial Zone, it was within his rights by the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution that guarantees the right to freedom of speech and expression to actually come before the senators and require answers why the budget that was sent by the executive arm of government to the tune of 25 trillion has suddenly rose to about 3.7 trillion plus. Where is the balance there? Where is the fairness there? Where are the explanation? And what we now see is that in order for whatever reasons, the leadership of the National Assembly, considering of the Senate President, what we see is that they now suspended him and taking into cognizance within the meaning of the Legislative House Powers and Privileges Act. If any senator is guilty of the word contempt or is in contempt of the proceedings or situation of the House, the Senate has just the right to suspend him for 48 hours. And when you go into the Senate standing order, within the meaning of section 47(4), it says the Senate, when they find a member wanting, can only suspend a member for 14 days. The question is, where do the Senate President have the powers in the first place to even suspend Senator Ningi for raising a very serious and a tried issue? The issue of budget padding is this way. Why we consider it as an unlawful activity is this way. Is a budget was presented within the meaning of the Appropriation Act to the members of the House of Assembly. What now happens is that these members in their committee, they go back and check this budget. They put the analysis, they put their figures, they look at it, they critically analyze it, they ensure that these things, what they have presented are what it's supposed to be. And at that level, it is now sent. The leadership of the House, the leadership of the committees, they now agree. And when they now send it to the executive, in another realm again, some certain set of persons, they will now insert their own figure.
Who are these certain?
That is the question. That is where the issue of budget padding comes inside, because it is not a collective decision of the House, the National Assembly. These are because the committees would have regularized it, they would have agreed, and they would have said, pass it to the leadership of the House. It's at the point where the circumstantial analysis of this budget padding. I look at the opinion of Mr. Clark SCN, and I've also looked at the views of other people. This is how it happens. When they now send it to the leadership of that is when the extraneous materials are now inserted into this budget, and that makes it an unlawful activity. Okay, not strictly criminalized, because no word exists in our criminal books as budget padding. But however, for 2 or 3 persons coming together for a particular purpose, not guided by lawful conduct, it makes it illegal.
Okay, if I may come in, Alhaji Usman, we've seen countries bringing out your annual budget and all that, and do it in such a very seamless, no argument. Why is Nigeria's annual budget, marred with controversy anytime it comes to bear? And the issue of budget padding is also something that has called for a serious concern.
Well, in my opinion, I have taken my time to listen to my colleague here, Kinley, and I want to say here that the issue of budget padding, when you talk about budget padding, he analyzed here in his analysis that it, at a point, probably at the committee points, certain senators insert certain figures into the budget. And of course,
no, after the committee deliberation.
Probably at that point, because if the committee is sat, it becomes the host on is the responsibility of the committee now to look at the budget keenly. And then once it's moved from there, it returns back to the Senate floor. From there, it is moved down to the executive. Now, within this period, whatever happens to the budget, it does not end there. It goes straight to the executive. The executive at their own level also looked at this budget. Before the president assents to it, they look at it clearly and ensure that all that has been transmitted, all that has been translated through that process is exactly what we have on the budget. Now, why is it a thing of concern? In the first place, let me take it from Ibrahim Ningi. Ningi, if you listen to him clearly, he is not concerned. I stand corrected here. He is not concerned about the padding of the budget itself. He is concerned about the fact that certain part of the country is having more allocation than where he comes from. Now that is an issue on his own. Now he's not looking at the holistic nature of the budget. If you also look at Naira Abaribe, who also speaks about the issue of padding, and then he made it very clear and said where people comes and then begin to look at certain amount of money that is allocated to certain part of the country as an issue, it becomes unnecessary because you need to look at the nitty-gritty. What are these nitty-gritty? Because I will not sit down here and accept hook, line, and sinker that the budget is padded and of course had to be discussed the way it is being discussed today in the country. Reasons being that, for instance, let me quote Eyinaya Abaribe. He said, there are some parts of the country, the 6 geopolitical zones. Some zones have about 7 states. Some zones have 6. In fact, some have 5. Now, a situation where, and for instance, 10 billion is sent to each of the geopolitical zones for their constituency programs. Now, once it's sent this way, if it goes back to that zone, maybe northwest, northeast, as the case may be, they sit down again and then divide it into the various states under that zone. Now, it now becomes necessary for you to reason it out this way, that once they have 7 states for 10 billion and then we have 5 states for 10 billion, because the demand that the ones with 5 states will have more budgets to their various states than it is with the one with 7 states. Now, that is one concern that Nigerians have failed to look at when it comes to the issue of looking at what is budgeted to every area. Now, 2, the issue of budget padding is also a thing of concern because I will not align myself with any senator or anybody padding the budget for whatever reason. That cannot, of course, is a no for me. But where it comes, you cannot run away from some of these things. Even in this hall where we are seated here, all of us are not of the same mindset. Take it or you leave it. Sometimes you will discover that you may have somebody whose discretion about certain things there is completely different from what a lot of us hold there. Now, when you have that kind of situation, what do? You listen to him. When you listen to him, let him air out his opinion. The next thing you need to do is how do you remedy that situation? Year in, year out, no matter how many times you run your budget, you cannot run away from this. But how can they be corrected to foster future happening? I'm coming right from the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo. He had made statement even with this. And he has said in clear terms, he looked at everybody in the National Assembly as being culpable to this act. Even the Ibrahim Ningi we are talking about, let us look at his antecedents in the time past, previously up to this moment where he has come to air out his mind. You will discover that he is not a saint. He is not. That is the gospel truth. Every National Assembly member try to see what they can do to draw what we call it, constituency programs back to their various places. But where it becomes a problem is where it has passed through all this process and the president has assented to it, and then it comes out as a legal document. At that point, we would have concluded that it was deliberate. But at this stage, For me, it is not deliberate because it's not concluded yet.
Okay. Let me come to Barrister. Barrister, you see, there are two things here. Number one issue is the issue of the man himself, Ningi, Senator Ningi, coming out to say, to debunk the fact that he accused the Senate of padding the budget. He said he was misquoted, according to what we read in the... And again, the Senate also came out to clarify that the 3.7 trillion naira on top the budget is a transfer of statutory transfer to some agencies that are not captured in the budget document. And he started giving explanations. I think Senator Yayi did that.
Yeah.
What have you to say about it, sir?
Yes, for my own stand, there must be a position as to a narrative, state of art, a document. An appropriation bill was sent to the National Assembly. Why can they not just, with specifics, approve what was sent to them? Do they need to add extraneous matters? No, this is actually a law. It's controlled by the appropriation bill. I heard by the presidential spokesman, Mr. Bayo Nunuga, saying they have discretionary power. I don't think the National Assembly, in my own estimation and legal evaluation, I don't think within the contents of whatever powers, the powers of the National Assembly to even consider these things is pursuant to Section 81. The constitutional provision do not give them any discretion to tamper with the budget. And that is where the issue as to budget padding comes about. And so, looking at the entire context, whatever it is, there is a germane question that has been raised that 3.7 trillion was added to the initial budgetary allocation. What I expect the leadership of the National Assembly to do is an advanced communication with the constituents and the people of Nigeria. Nigeria are in a state whereby we distrust the entire leadership of Nigeria. There's whether they accept it or not, there's a highly disconnection between the people, the leadership of the National Assembly, because people are aggrieved, because all these things we're saying now, they don't really see the implementation of this. And in a very peculiar circumstances, people are going to raise eyebrows. Why do you have to suspend Senator Ningi? Why don't you, and more importantly, you don't expect a village headmaster who committed a crime for him to investigate himself? Why don't they conduct a panel of inquiry independent of this house so that some of these issues can be looked into? This recurring budget padding has now become a regular phenomenon. And I maintain the same position, and Robert Clark also maintains this position. It is an unlawful activity. It is not with the consensus of the members of the National Assembly. And that is why there is a disconnect. And you see people like Senator Ningi raising issues. It is not purely a criminal matter, but it borders on some lapses, some infractions of even the House rules. Because when the committee sits, they sit as a whole. When the House sits, they sit as a whole. Decisions are collectively made for them. And when these things are made, and Ningi has spotted the lapses, what we need is a better explanation from the leadership of the Senate that why Z, this, and this.
Which they have done.
Well, there has been in session. There has been figures. Like 1,150 for street lights.
The question is, why is it coming at this time when a serious and a perverse allegation has been raised? Hold on, sir. Why is it coming at this point? Why were they not, as soon as the budget was sent for assent, why did they not give us the explanation? These are the questions.
Well, the explanations are
hold on. And when you look at it, that gap, that lacuna, it gives room for concern. Before they send the assets, why did they not also give explanation? This is what we have done, and this is what they would have cleared the gray area. Why should they wait for a standing and a ranking senator to raise very high allegations against the leadership of the Senate before they start trying to see the narrative they can pass to the people? So these are the issues, and this is why we sincerely believe, we from this other side, we sincerely believe that we do not believe that the word padding comes with positive reasons. There's a little bit, yes, we do not believe.
I don't believe so too.
Yes,
that
we
it
do.
comes with positive reasons,
We do not believe that it comes with positive reasons. We still feel, though it might not be a criminal matter, but it is an unlawful activity.
Okay, Engineer Osman.
Yes.
There's been a documented figure of 7 billion for empowerment of traditional rulers. What empowerment could this be?
What I want to, you see, before I go to the issue of the 7 billion, I want to first and foremost, billion, yes. I want to first and foremost say that Ibrahim Lingi, the suspension of Ibrahim Lingi was lawful.
No, it was not lawful, sir.
Hold on,
I will tell, sir, let me respond to that. Let me, can I respond to that?
Okay, could you just allow him to land?
Myself.
Yes.
It was lawful, as far as I'm concerned. I said it from ab initio that I'm not a lawyer, but I think I follow the trends of activities. Lawful in the sense that if Ibrahim Ningi or Abdul Ningi, which is why he is, finds anything unlawful in the budget, which he did, the first thing was to complain to the leadership of the Senate, which he did. And just like you said, he was asked to bring it up for them to discuss and look at those issues holistically. And he never waited. The next thing was to begin to blow it out of proportion, as far as I'm concerned. So if he had gone against the Senate rule of bringing issues that has to do with the Senate for discourse, of course, if the Senate suspend him, it is lawful. That is one. Two, when you have the National Assembly also have the prerogative to make some inputs with regards to the budget, so long as there are lawful inputs. Lawful inputs in the sense that the Senate President came out and then made clear explanations on some of those amounts of money that amounted to the how many trillions we're talking about in question.
Yeah.
He made clear explanation. And my colleague here asserting the fact that they needed to have done that ab initio was wrong. Wrong in the sense that now the budget in itself has not been detailed, explained to the country. There have not been room where you bring out budget and then begin to take budget lines one after the other and say A, B, C, and then this one was excluded. No, we have not gotten to that point. So if we have gotten to that point and they have shielded this particular aspect away from Nigerians, then we would have said it is mischievous. But at this point, we have not gotten to that level. So why would you expect them to now begin to take a particular budget line and come back down to Nigeria to begin to tell Nigerians we've been able to add this, no, we have added that, or we're adding this. It doesn't work. And let me also add quickly, there is none of this budget that will be implemented that is not passed or channeled through a ministry. None. Even the senators, their constituency projects are channeled through various ministries. They go back to that minister or to those executives and then ensure that their the constituency projects are also carried out with regards to what it is on the budget. Therefore, the National Assembly will not, the executive will not close their eyes. That is why we have three arms of the government. Will not close their eyes to see that the National Assembly had done anything unlawful, and then it comes to them and they will go ahead and assent without looking at the nitty-gritty with regards to those things. So the 7 trillion, or is it billion you're talking about for the traditional rulers, for me as it stands today, if you have 7 billion for traditional rulers, for purpose of, what did you say? Empowerment. Honestly speaking, as we speak in this country today, go around the various villages. The closest people to the leaders to the people today are the traditional rulers. As we speak today, they are the traditional rulers. Some of them cannot even access their local government chairman. Some cannot get to their governors or even their ministers. But they have access to this traditional rulers because these are the custodians of culture and traditions. So if there are certain amounts of money, a mark for them to be able to take care of the downtrodden, the vulnerables, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it. It can only be wrong if it's outrageously done. But if it is channeled properly, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Okay, Alhaji Usman, let me just check you on that. We're talking about the 10th National Assembly,
yes,
and we've seen the antecedents, yes, of previous
assemblies.
Would you say on the level of credibility, transparency, and accountability, you trust the 10th National Assembly under the leadership of Senate President Akpabio?
In the first place, it depends on where you're coming from. We have had National Assembly that were like cabals. They were like a court.
Okay.
whatever happens there starts and ends there, and nobody voice it out. So you can't assess them with what they do.
Which particular assembly?
I wouldn't want to be specific, but I can say I have them on records. We have National Assembly that have been holistically together, whether irrespective of the political affiliations. But we are having a National Assembly where certain persons, for whatever reason, voice out. Let me take something quickly. The first time the Senate President sat at the gallery and announced whether he did it deliberately or otherwise, what was going to be given to legislative members as they were going on holidays last year. The first time ever, whichever way it came out of him. I was saying that it has not been happening in the past. Have you ever heard that anything like that has happened? Was anybody? No, that's what we are saying. This thing, that is exactly what we are saying. Is it that there was no God when those other ones were ruling? These things have been a persistent thing. It has been happening. But this is an assembly where people are allowed to voice out what they think. In the case of Ningi, for instance, somebody would have suspended him if he had followed the rules. If he had also allowed himself, subject that particular findings to scrutiny by the House. It is at that point. If you wouldn't have gone to the Senate President in the first place. Don't forget that he has drawn the attention of the Senate President to those issues. And the man didn't keep quiet and say, look, we need to sit down and look at this. And all of a sudden, he let them begin to blow it out as a whistleblower. For me, it is not a good thing for a man of status and caliber to begin. Now, as it stands now, instead of us to discuss other issues, we are busy discussing budget padding. Now, have we moved forward in any way? These are issues we discuss almost every now and then. I expected that if it has been returned back to the Senate, to the committee to look at and, of course, extract those things, perhaps the needful would have been done. And we wouldn't be here bothering our minds and heads.
Gentlemen, have we moved forward? We need to go on a short break, and we'll be right back. Viewers, don't go away. Let's just take a short break, and we will discuss further. Have we moved forward? Welcome back, viewers. This is still Issues in the News on 9 News Nigeria. If you had missed the first section, please do not miss this one. This is the second section, and of course we have been discussing that very catchy topic, the padding going on in National Assembly, in quotes. And to do justice with me on this very topic has been Alhaji Usman and Barrister Samuel Hetzinken, and of course, my delectable Una Douglas, the co-anchor.
Thank you, Nsilibe.
Barrister Samuel, please, I'd like to take on you.
Yes.
What is the implication, the legal implication of...
Suspension of the
yes, you have taken the question out.
Yes, boldly, I can tell the leadership of the Senate, they are in misnomer, they are in error, and the entirety of the resolution or whatsoever they pass on Senator Ningi has no cognizance, has no recognition, has no legal basis, and is clearly illegal. We have like 2 more recent cases delivered by the Federal High Court in Ali Dume versus the president of the Senate president, and we have Omoma Agege, Oviemo Agege versus the Senate president. In the first one, in the second one, it was a judgment delivered by Justice Dingba of the Federal High Court, who deprecated the actions of the Senate president then and the leadership of the Senate in the suspension of Senator Omoma Agege, saying that the Senate has no powers to suspend a sitting senator in whatever the circumstances, more importantly in the manner in which they have suspended him. I've cited some sections, the Legislative House privilege and powers at the Senate Standing Rules, section 47.4, that even in extreme cases, when an inquiry has been done as to a senator and he has been found wanting, the highest you can do to that senator is to suspend him within 14 days. Anything, but this one, in Senator Ningi, there was no hearing. He just exercised his powers absolutely and suspended him for 3 months. That is not even captured, recognized, or circumscribed within the meaning of the Senate standing order. So, in totality, the suspension of Senator Ningi is clearly illegal, and I urge him to proceed.
Can he proceed to court?
Yes, he can proceed to court. In Norman Agege's case, because he went to court, in retaliation, the leadership of the Senate, they suspended him. And the court said, no, everybody have a constitutional right of access to court. When you are aggrieved as to a particular action, the consequences, instead of you towing the path of anarchy, taking laws into your hand and insisting to self-help, you must approach the court. So it's within his rights, I urge Senator Ningi to drag the leadership of the National Assembly, consisting of the Senate President, who arbitrarily, perversely, and expressly, without no cognizance or recognition of any power whatsoever, suspended him for 3 months. That is purely illegal. There is no provision of any kind. There is no law or statute of any kind that gives him the power to suspend a senator like him. They were voted by consequent. So I've cited these 2 cases, and that is where I draw my conclusions from. Senator Akpabio was in error to have suspended Senator Ningi.
Alhaji, do you agree with him?
This is entirely your opinion. It's entirely your
No, the court has given a judgment on this issue.
Let him react to your statement.
Because you know, and I do, that the Senate has a standing role. And you also know that the Senate is a conglomeration of people from different professions.
That's right.
Different professions. So there are so many lawyers there. There are engineers, there are doctors, name them. They're all there. Even traders, they're all there. So if Akpabio, as the leader of the Senate, was acting in error, I am sure, 100% sure, that there are some other learned seals that are there that would have drawn his attention to the error made. Well, time will tell. Ningi has his constitutional right to go to court. Let him go and prove the legal, his illegal suspension.
Yes.
We are here as Nigerians, and then we'll watch as that comes. I don't have much to say with regards to that, but I needed to make this very clear, that for us as Nigerians, one thing I tell people is this: we don't have any other country to call our own except this. When there are issues, it doesn't matter the side of the device you are. Let us drop our differences and look at those issues holistically. For me, the budget padding, if there's anything called padding, is wrong. It's completely wrong. I don't subscribe to anything called padding. But where it does happen, there are means of addressing issues of this nature. Let it be addressed like civilized people. Let us look at it like people who were elected to represent the people. Ningi is elected to represent people from the other end. There are other people in such a way. He needs to have consulted with his other members and let them draw the attention of the Senate. Sit down and look at this holistically, so that the time we will be spending discussing issues, as far as I'm concerned, that is trivial, because whichever way you go around this issue, it will end up at worst case scenario. It's okay, go back to that budget, let's review it again and see what best can be done. That's all. Would have wasted all this time on this issue rather than think of something positive that will move us from this quagmire that we're in now to somewhere better. Okay. So there are better ways of addressing issues.
Okay, Barrister, the Senate.
Yes,
well,
he just said something very peculiar, and we need to hold the cow by its horn. He said we need to go beyond party line. I sincerely agree. But the question is, the APC regime controlling the federal government, have they moved beyond party line?
Of course, yes.
Hold on, sir. This week, somebody, a woman who was supposed to be on the board of the CBN, actually supported Peter Obi for the presidency. And his name was withdrawn, that he did not support this present president. What is the implication of that?
It was wiki of...
Hold on. Just hold on, sir. Just hold on. What is the meaning of that? Have they left party line? It should be holistic, sir. Hold on. It should be holistic and exhaustive. What is good for the gardener?
Because
it's also good for the goods.
Because politics is over.
It's
time
over.
For governance.
So because she supported Peter Obi.
1999 to date, there is no government that have been of national unity like this particular government. As we speak today, I'm of the FCT.
Then why did we withdraw?
Hold on.
Why did we withdraw?
The question is, who did Wike work for as for president?
Let me clear this. In FCT today, Douglas, I challenge you to go out there on the street and then do your analysis, do your investigation. Everybody that is being appointed by Wilson Wike today are all of the PDP. Meanwhile, he's a minister, hold on, he's a minister of FCT. Do you understand? The president brought him. Wike has said time without number that he's not of the APC. He has made this very clear to everybody. And today, he does not even relate with the APC in FCT as we speak today. Now, people who have worked for the party in FCT are suffering it. But the president said, I want the man that can do this job. And he brought him. Now, if you want to say the president withdrew, there was an appointment of a lady from Kano.
Yeah.
Or ministerial appointment. He was of the APC. Few days or just few hours to the screening, he was withdrawn, replaced. Look, leave what you see on the screen and let us dig deeper. Forget about what you read on the social media.
And Nigerians deserve to know
that is why if you need to know, you ask questions. If you ask questions correctly and rightly, you get the right answers. Most of the things you see on social media, as far as I am concerned, 80% of them, except where it's coming from, is proven beyond reasonable doubt. Most of them are false. People try to make certain assertions that are not in any way related to the issues that is being discussed. So that is why I used the initial phrase of saying that let us discuss as Nigerians and not with regards to party affiliation. For me today, hold on, I was on air just last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I praised Wike from beginning to the end. I sit down here today. I worked for the party.
Because he's doing the work of the APC.
We are going somewhere. No.
Yes.
I am telling you, I work for the party. You know.
Party now?
Yes, let me be very. I work for the APC.
Okay.
I am the spokesperson of APC in FCT. I'm the chairman of the Nigeria Public Secretaries of the 36 states. Now, I tell you for free that the work I did for APC, none of those people that have been appointed by Wike today would have been appointed if right peg were to be in the right hole.
Okay.
But today, you know, you have gone around the FCT while the elections were going on, but I have no appointments. Wike, I am not bothered. I'm not bothered because he is working. Because the man is working, I am not bothered. That is what we are talking about. Governance. Let us see it work. So when somebody withdraw because they withdrew somebody from the CBN, it has now become news. And you didn't bother to make it a news when a PDP person was appointed, and several others have been appointed. One of the ministers, I won't be specific now, was appointed. In fact, during the campaigns, he was on the social media against the president. He was insulting him everywhere. All his Twitter handles and everything was against the president. He's today a minister under the same president. Has anybody appraised him for that? So sometimes let us discuss like Nigerians and stop being biased about issues.
But most Nigerians will tell you
Can I
that.
respond?
Can we still dwell on the padding issue? Because I have a question.
No, just in less than 1 second.
Okay,
Just less than one. You know, Wike is considered as the patron, as the grandeur of the River State politics. And we know we have a peculiar circumstances in River State where majorly 90% of the House of Assembly members, they have APC. So in that configuration, can you still say that Wike is not PDP in the morning?
Wike is legally
APC.
a PDP person till today.
So I don't want to. Wike is of no significance. Let's not go.
You cannot rule the man of
Let's
Wike
not.
out.
It's just
But
a
we
matter
say
of time.
he's a PDP in the
we will do
morning
it, we will-
and
Wike is
APC at night.
morning, afternoon, night.
Does he attend their meetings?
Wike,
Yes.
the party itself had refused Wike so many things. And he keeps saying, I am not leaving this party. This is my party.
Because he wants to destroy the political party.
APC meetings?
Do you think he's frustrating the party?
Does it affect APC meetings?
But the Wike is not a
No,
failure.
I'm asking, does it attend APC meetings? Which card is he carrying? Is he carrying APC card? You must carry a party card to be a membership of that card.
Would you say
And
he's
it-
a
Why
black
he's
sheep?
saying
He's
this?
a black sheep
Why
of the
he's saying
PDP.
this? Because he's happy because of the atrocity
It's not
Wike
a
is
black
doing to the PDP.
It's not a black
Because
sheep.
he represents the
I am-
APC.
I am-
He's
I
so
am- I am
happy
saying
with
it-
the atrocity
Hold on.
Wike
I'm
is
saying
doing
it-
to
I'm
the
saying it
PDP.
in plain
This is somebody who worked for Siwaju.
but
He
you
called
just-
5 governors.
just
He
said it here.
mandated them
Hold
to
on.
work against
You just
the
said it
candidature of
here. You just
Atiku
said it here
Abubakar.
now.
He has never been why the PDP choose to leave him.
But why?
Why the PDP choose to leave him? The PDP do not want. Yeah.
The same man is castigated. You
No,
just made
work,
it clear
work.
here. You said, but he's working.
No, I never. I said he's working for the presidency.
But barrister.
He's working for the APC.
But
in
barrister.
the
Man is
evil
working
lights.
for Nigeria.
Barrister.
He's
working
not.
for
He's
presidency.
working for himself.
Barrister.
Yes.
PDP has a leadership. Why are they still living with me?
Why
have they not suspended
you have to
me?
be very hold on, sir. You have to be very, very careful. No, we have not derailed, sir. Let me answer. No, we have not. We have not. See, there's just let me answer your question. We have to be very, very, very careful. Wike is not a pushover. Where Wike is heading to, he wants a fragmentation of the PDP so that the National Assembly members in the Senate and in the Rep, they can all decamp to the APC.
There wouldn't have been a PDP today.
I don't know if you're getting it. He wants the PDP to divide into two so that the provisions of Section 109.
I think we are still talking about the budget.
Let's go back to the party.
We're still talking.
PDP today. If we have not held that party that long.
Yeah, we are talking about withdrawal of nomination.
Please. Okay, Barrister Sam, what measures can be implemented to prevent pardon?
First of all, there must be consequence for actions.
This is one.
Yes, there must be consequence for actions.
The suspension is one?
Yes.
You see, one thing with the APC, the way they are going about governance, we cannot get an appreciable solutions. They keep chasing shadows.
My brother.
How, please?
Yes, because he has raised, Ningi has raised a very germane and a very trite issue. He has raised it, and the issue has not been addressed holistically. And you don't silence an innocent accuser. You don't silence him. They are the voice of reason, and you've not addressed it. This is the APC government is the most corrupt regime in Africa, more corrupt than the Somalia regime.
Please,
Okay. You alleged that they are the most corrupt.
In the whole of Africa.
That's an accusation.
Which country has the inflation Nigeria is suffering?
That's an accusation. Nationally,
which country's currency in a space of 6 months has risen by 1,000?
Does it have to do with
it has to do with the policies, the economic policies, the fake policies, because what they have succeeded, the APC wants to make us believe that the Buhari regime is not a continuation.
But is Nigeria the only country suffering inflation as we speak?
For God's sake.
Nigeria's own is bisect.
In Europe today,
because
fuel is sold at 2,000 naira per liter.
Nigeria's own is bisect because it's very obvious. It's very even the said palliative. The said palliative they have given bread and so on. What this is not governance.
Okay.
So still on the measures. Yeah. Still on the measures.
The measures is there must be consequence for actions. I don't believe this APC they are ready to be truthful to themselves.
Can you speak generally on Nigeria?
I don't expect. The truth is that you cannot remove the sickness from the personality. It's the man who suffers the sickness. So I don't expect. Unfortunately, the National Assembly has a way of actually also the APC has a way of corrupting those who are also.
Yes, that brings to mind. There is this political party that from infancy they became adults.
The APC has corrupted.
We are talking about the Labour Party.
Yes.
People expected that the lawmakers from the Labour Party should be outspoken, should make impact. But Nigerians are not saying all of that.
Let me tell you something quickly.
They have silenced them.
No, my friend, let me come.
Okay.
If the Labour Party had formed the presidency, that is what you would have seen. Let me come. In 1979, 80, I don't know, many of you knows what happened then, but I think I was privy to it. I'm almost 60 now. In 1979, 80, I remember vividly, during the Shagaris regime, the NPN, UNPP, GNPP, name them, and so on. Every political party held a particular section. And they were able to produce senators under then Joseph Wires for those days. Then the likes of Ahmad Ali and the rest, Ahmad Ali must go and so on. Now they came in, and they came in with the ideology of their political parties. What that means is that in the floor of the National Assembly, you stand strictly with your political ideology. Where the party in governance is misleading you away from that your party ideology, you strike. Your voice will be heard. And say, no, if we had come, this is what we would have done. This is what we would have done. When you talk about corrupting people, no senator is paid less than the other senator. all the senators.
But in benefits, in benefit, the allegation some got 500 and allegation some got 200.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
All the senators are senators.
Basic allowance.
Basically, it all depends on how you are able to stand your ground. Today, in the civil service, we may have 5 directors in the same office, in the same establishment. Some will be doing better than others. Is it because they are not directors? Is it because they're not paid the same allowances or the same amount of money?
They lobbied?
It's not lobby. It is all about just being discretional about the things you do. Now, if I go out now to source for money, if I'm a governor, you are a governor, and then I go out there to source for money apart from the normal allocation that comes to my state, and I go out there source for funds, and then comes to make my state richer and better, and you are not doing the same, of course we can't be on the same pedestal. Do you understand? So there are senators and there are senators. Now, if the Labour Party, if their voice is not heard as we speak today, it shows you clearly that if they have formed the government at the center, we would have been in for a quagmire. Let me also tell you quickly, before I rest my case, that when you talk about this issue of removal of oil subsidy, prior to the election we had last year, everybody, including Atiku, Obi, and Tinubu, who were on that contest, made it very clear that once they are elected, subsidy was going to be removed. Somebody will be tempted to say, what was the measures that were put in place? If the president had not removed the, the subsidy, the day he removed it, there wouldn't have been anything called subsidy removal. This country is bigger than we see. There are few persons out there that can hold you on the scrotum and so press it that you will beg and beg for yourself to survive. And that leaves us with the fact that I have said time without number that we have certain group of persons in this country that if you are a government and you decide to align yourself with them, you become a stooge. If you work against them, they will fight you from the beginning of your government to the end of your government. And that is where we are. And for me, I think that except and until we begin to discuss as Nigerians and begin to look at this country as our country, begin to look at the future of this country, except we begin to do that together, we won't get to where we want to go. Because as you are trying to climb, some other person is pulling you down. Barack Obama said, and I quote clearly before I rest my case, he said, look, once a government is formed, I'm not going to quote him verbatim now. So once a government is formed, whether you like that government or not, support that government to succeed, because if that government fails, it's your country that fails, not that individual. But where you are pulling that government down, you are pulling your country down, not that individual, because his time is limited. And of course, when the time elapses, he leaves. So that is where I stand on this issue.
Okay, Alhaji Usman, how does the suspension of Senator Ningi reflect on the National Assembly?
Well,
transparency and
yes. What I need to say about that is that, like I said, he has his right to prove his case, his issue of suspension, whether legal or illegal. He has the right to do that. But then, this suspension, what it shows is, once issues of this nature come, and it's a national issue, it is always important. It will serve as deterrent to others. It's important for them to sit down in-house, look at the issues as they were, and then correct whatever anomalies that is found on either the budget or any other issues for that matter. It is only where the National Assembly, the leadership, refused vehemently to act in accordance to bringing in some of those corrective measures. At that time, if you speak out, I will sit down here and condemn whatever it is out there to the later. But until a man is not proved guilty, until he's heard, you need to give them opportunity. And that is the opportunity that the Senate President is trying to see how they can explain what transpired or what happened with the budget. Okay. So for me, it will serve as that.
Okay, let me come to Barrister. Based on the earlier statement one of the guests made about, the discipline and all that to, suspension, talking about it. Now, a former senator in the Senate, the Senate have 109 senators. A former senator.
No, they have 109 senators.
Yes.
And THC still has a
Yes. Now we're talking about a former senator who is also a voice when it comes to issues in the Senate and the country. Senator Shehu Sani from Kaduna State. Yeah. He made a statement about opposing the powers that be. That you don't oppose, that once you oppose anything in the Senate,
the
that
APC
they will mark you. No, he did not mention. No, excuse me, sir. So sorry. Let me. Okay. He said once you oppose their proceedings, their decisions and all that, they will mark you for, I don't know, because he was once there, and he's talking from he talked from the position of experience and all that. Sir, do you think that there's a cabal in the Senate?
It's not really a cabal per se. It's not really a cabal. And so this is where I sympathize with the Labour Party and the PDP senators. And I must praise the courage of Senator Ningi, where others have refused because of what they stand to benefit. And in order not to lose their precious seat, they have refused to challenge this present leadership of the Senate, who basically, they are from the APC. And Senator Ningi has taken the initiative and taken the cow to the gulag or to the abattoir. I must praise his courage. And that is why I say it's not just a cabal, it's actually we must leave this peculiar situation. We must enhance participation. This is beyond politics. And the truth about this whole thing is, I don't see redemption, salvation, because there are explanations from the former regime. There are issues. This Senate were accusing the former Senate regime, where Lawa was speaking in the floor of the Senate House, trying to give explanation to certain issues. What we should understand is that regime is APC regime. It was an APC constituted house. APC had the majority, and the senator who was the Senate president then was an APC senator. And now again we have, so it's a continuation of what we have before. There is no salvation. There is no salvation with this present APC leadership of the Senate.
You still insist on APC?
Yes, I still. Yes.
You begin to draw the
Yes. Hold on, no, sir. It's my turn. You had a long time. It's my turn. Yes. It's the same. We cannot keep putting one thing in the same old wine in the same bottle, and we expect to get a different result. At the end of these 8 years, we'll be here back in the same place to speak another grammar. Nothing will change.
May it not be so.
We should not bring down their basic things.
Maybe the role of the executive.
Yes, there are basic things we
Assembly.
need to address. I don't expect a redemption, but I expect a better Nigeria. But with the APC leadership, I'm totally disappointed and I don't have confidence there.
Let me correct an impression with Barrister. It's unfortunate that you are not pessimistic about Nigeria issues. I mean, they're not optimistic. Sorry, they're not optimistic about Nigeria issues. You are completely pessimistic. It's just unfortunate. I have hope in this country. This country has a future, a great future. That is number one. Two, I also want him to know, when you do your analysis and you become biased, it does not help the listeners outside. This issue of budget padding, did it start with the last regime?
It's an APC regime.
Hold on, sir. Did it start with the last regime or this regime?
It should get better.
Was Obasanjo a government not led by a Senate president that was a PDP? Before his government, during the Goodluck Jonathan's administration, was it not led by the PDP senator? If we want to do our analysis, let us take it from the basis and then run it through, so that what we need to correct along the line, we correct them. But if we begin to attach it to a particular political party, we will get it all wrong. But I hope for a better Nigeria.
Okay, before we draw the curtain, before you just say something, in your opinion, this is the 10th Senate, which is your best Senate, and your best Senate?
As far as I am concerned, the Senate is evolving. I won't rate any. It's evolving. We'll get there.
Okay, you?
The thing is, this present Senate leadership is quite unfortunate. I've expressed my opinion, and this is not the first time I'm expressing my opinion. I hope for a better Senate leadership.
All right, and on the final note, Alhaji Usman, what would you like to tell Nigerians?
Nigerians, we don't have any country to call our own. This is our country. Let us all continue to pray and continue to hope and correct whatever is we see along the line. We'll have a better Nigeria ahead of us.
And Barry, sir?
I want to urge Nigerians not to give up. The APC will not hold us to our gulag. There must be redemption at the end of the day.
you and the APC.
They have refused to check.
Viewers, I know you have had a nice time. As always, time is always a challenge to us.
They have refused to check.
But on a serious note, as the dust settles on the tumult, politics, the scars of the pardon saga, let it serve as a stark reminder of the challenges facing Nigerians. Accountability is key. Transparency is key to the efficacy of good governance. Nigerians are watching, and we are expecting change. Thank you for always tuning in. This is still Issues on 9 News, Nigeria. Hope to see you next time. Our social media handles are down there. Hit the like button, leave a comment for us. And until we come your way next time, thank you for being with us. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you in our studio.
It's nice having you there. Thank you.
Goodbye, viewers.